All right, so this video is going to be about how the home buying process actually works for all you first-time home buyers out there. I'm that agent Kelly, realtor out here in the Fraser Valley. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Have tons of people reaching out. Would love to hear from you. If you do have some questions, all my contact information is in the description. If you get any value or entertainment from these videos, all that I ask, thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get into this video. All right, so step one when you are first starting your home search or you first have the thought that you're gonna buy a home is obviously talk to a mortgage broker. Now, a lot of people skip this step and they talk to the realtor first, and that's completely fine too. But me being a realtor, the first thing that I'm going to tell these clients, I'm gonna get some information out of them. Hey, what are you looking to do? What's the plan? This and that. But in an ideal world, you actually want to talk to the mortgage broker first, because you can't really develop the plan unless you talk to the mortgage broker, because that mortgage broker is going to take all your documents. They'll tell you, hey, this is what you can afford today. And then based on that, then we can come up with a plan, right? It's okay if you talk to the realtor first, right? But as a realtor, that's step one for me is, hey, we should get you pre-approved so we know what you're looking at, and then we can develop a plan from there. Step two would be sit down with the realtor once you've got your budget and come up with the plan of attack. Hey, where are you right now? Are you renting? Are you living at home? When do you want to move out? Where do you want to live? What are you hoping to get? When do you want to get into whatever it is you're hoping to get? Sorry, I'm sick today. But that would be step two, sit down with the realtor and then come up with a plan of attack. Because maybe you decide maybe your situation is it's better to buy a pre-sale. If you're living at home with your parents, it might be better to buy a pre-sale than it is to buy a resale home, something already built, right? Those are the things that the realtor is going to cover with you when you sit down with that realtor after you've got the budget from the mortgage broker. Number three, you're going to start looking at homes. Not too much to say on this subject. The realtor is going to set up a search for you. Me personally, the way that I do it, I set up a search with certain criteria, exactly what we're looking for in the areas that we're looking for it, and it hits my client's inbox every morning at 8 a.m. so we can see everything new that has hit the market. I CC myself in that email so we can both review the properties, and then if I think one is good for my client, I'll be like, hey, you want to go see this one? Set up a time, go see it. Number four, writing an offer. So you like a place. Currently right now in this market, most things are selling under ask. It just depends on what it is. Although I've been in multiple offers like 8 times in the last 2 months for some reason, but most things are selling under ask. And basically how this is going to look when you write an offer, I guess first thing I should cover is the deposit. So here in Vancouver, I don't know about the rest of BC, but I know at least Vancouver, Lower Mainland, Fraser Valley, the standard deposit is 5% of the purchase price. So if you're buying an $800,000 property, the deposit's going to be $40,000. You have to have that either in cash, ready to go in your bank, or you have to have a line of credit or some way to access $45,000 or $40,000 liquid. That deposit isn't due until we remove subjects, and then it goes into my brokerage's trust account and it sits there until completion. So I'm gonna explain what subjects are. Subjects are basically, hey, you're saying, I want to buy this home contingent on the fact that we do an inspection and everything looks okay. Or I want to buy this home contingent on the fact that I can actually get the financing for it. So how that looks is we're going to write an offer and it'll be subject to financing or subject to inspection or subject to strata documents. Financing, inspection, whatever. Financing is usually a 5 business day subject removal period. They're a little bit longer now with the banks taking more time to get things done. So now I'm seeing 2 weeks, 7 business days, 8 business days, but you're gonna have a subject to financing in there. During that time period, if you have an inspection, I normally make inspection 2 days long, right? You're gonna go inspect the home. Okay, yes, everything looks good. We're gonna remove that subject now. So I send you a form called a subject removal form. You sign off on it, boom, that subject is removed. Now we're coming up on the 5 days for the financing subject. Okay, your lender usually is gonna get an appraiser in there before subject removal period, just to make sure that that home appraises. The risk with appraisals is that if you buy an 800 grand home and it appraises at 750, the lender is only going to lend you 20% of 750. Meaning, not only will you have to bring 20% of 750, but you also owe the seller 800. So you'll have to bring an extra 50 grand to close. So it's super important that that appraisal comes back at what you paid for the house. If you don't have 20% plus another $50,000 to pay back the seller. But your lender's gonna get an appraisal done. It appraises, they say, yep, you're good to go. We will fund you on this property. We remove the financing subject. Within 48 hours of that, or depending on whenever you can get the cash, the deposit is due. It is due within 48 hours of subject removal. Now, something I want to cover, strata documents. If you're writing on a condo or a townhome, there's going to be something called strata documents, which shows the financials of the building. It'll have a report that goes over the structure and all of the material items in the building, the age of everything, when it should be getting replaced, if it's a good building. And then it'll have, the strata minutes, what they talk about in every meeting and what repairs are ongoing and how much money's in the contingency reserve. That stuff I try to review before we write the offer, so we can leave that subject out of the offer. But sometimes the listing agent won't have all the documents ready. So what you end up doing is you write an offer subject to review of strata documents. Then after it gets accepted, we're gonna read through all of those documents. If everything looks good, we remove that subject. And that's basically the getting the offer accepted portion. Another thing, obviously, dates, right? There's a completion date. This is the date where title actually gets transferred over to you, right? On, November 1st, you are now the legal owner of this property. However, there's a possession day and an adjustment day, right? So the adjustment day, the possession day is going to be the day on which you actually get the keys and move into the home. Normally, if the seller's living in the home, these dates will be staggered 3 or 4 days, so the seller has time to actually move out of the home and transfer their stuff from their old home into their new home. I like to do a 4-day spread between completion and possession for my sellers. And the adjustment day is basically just the day that the new buyer is responsible for property taxes and strata fees and stuff like that. And then step 7, you're gonna wait for closing. So, if you're really organized, you're gonna have a lawyer ready to go before we even write the offer. But 9 out of 10 of my clients do not have a lawyer, and they just find the lawyer during closing. They retain the lawyer, they call up the lawyer, say, hey, I just got an accepted offer on this place. I wanna retain you for the conveyancing of the purchase of this property. And lawyers typically need, a week to, do the conveyancing on a property. So if you give them a month and a half heads up, it's plenty of time. But yeah, basically then you're just gonna wait for closing, maybe start getting ready to move, that kind of stuff within that month and a half, 2-month period. And that's basically it. So again, if you're looking to get into a place, I'm more than happy to take your phone call, answer some questions, maybe even help you out in the buying process. Again, I'm that agent Kelly. Please like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.